Watching Charlie Brown try to impress the little red-haired girl in this movie reminded me how nervous I get when I talk to pretty ladies. Hi Jennifer. Didn't see you there. What is up everybody? RandomRandomMan here, and yes, I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately. Long time no movie review. But I am back again, and this time I am reviewing the Peanuts movie. Now, of course, this movie is based off of the iconic comic strip written by Charles M. Schulz, and the plot follows the whole gang once again that we all know and love, but with Charlie wanting to impress this little red-haired girl that's just moved in across the street from him, even though he always tries and fails at a lot of things, much to the detriment of his friends and himself. Meanwhile, Charlie's dog Snoopy and his bird friend Woodstock are trying to stop the Red Baron from stealing Snoopy's love interest, a cute little poodle named Fifi. I've grown up with the Peanuts comic strip, as with many children over the years, and I clearly do love this strip. I have two stuffed animals here, Snoopy and Woodstock, from me and my brother's youth, and I've grown to love the movies and TV specials that have preceded this movie. And going into this movie, I had moderately high expectations because I love Peanuts, and I was hoping that it would bring new life to a new audience of children out there. However, I did have one issue if the modernization of this comic strip would be in effect for this adaptation. But how was it? Let's run down the whole thing. Basically, every known Peanuts character returns here in this big screen adaptation. Of course, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Sally, Schroeder, Peppermint Patty, Linus, Marcy. Pretty much the whole gang is here, and to my surprise, they're actually voiced, as far as I'm concerned, by real children, which is a delight to know. Same thing with Snoopy and Woodstock. Now, sadly, the original voice actor of these two characters, Bill Melendez, has passed away years ago, but through the power of archival recordings, he is brought back to life in breathing new life to these adorable characters. I love the camaraderie that these two characters have with each other, and even the adult voices remain intact. You know, the wah 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 wah, that kind of thing. I love that trombone sound effect, and it's riddled throughout, and I have to say, overall, the voice acting here is superb. The story here is pretty basic, but I think it's enough to get by because this is a simple story that kids really have enough to know to understand it, because it's just Charlie Brown falling in love with a little red-haired girl and trying to impress her and show that he's a winner, even though he has tried and failed many times over the years. But it really is interesting to see because it tells a lesson that kids really all around the world and of any generation need to know, that if you try again, you will succeed even if you keep failing and failing and failing. And it's a nice message for me as well, for kids and adults. Everyone needs to know this basically. And the subplot with Snoopy and Woodstock going up against the Red Baron and trying to take Fifi back is a nice diversion. It takes place sparingly throughout the movie, and it's a nice addition that leads to the gorgeous animation. And this movie really looks so distinct with its CGI effects with the characters. And I really liked how there was a 3D effect with it all, even though these are 2D sprites that were originally hand-drawn. In fact, some original comic strips of these characters in 2D appear either in pigments of their imaginations or, if possible, attempts. I really enjoyed that, mixing the old and the new, and it looks very vibrant, very lively, and just all around colorful to watch. There's also fan service galore in this movie for any fan of Peanuts such as myself, from the memorable quips and lines and just the moments that made Peanuts Peanuts. It also made the movie pretty funny. It's not just kiddie humor that's on display here. There are some jokes that adults will get at, even though this movie is a G-rated film. I still really laughed a lot in this movie, or at least chuckled. I was mildly amused by it. There was also a problem I had going in with the modernization factor of this movie, but thankfully it was all alleviated once the movie got going, because this movie takes place From what I can infer, in the 1950s or 1960s, when the comic first got written and popularized. And it's a joy to know that, because it is evident that these characters are still using landline telephones that were popular back then, and no modern technology is in sight, which makes this movie very timely, timeless, or however you call that, because it can take place at any period in time despite no modern technology being seen, and it shows that the messages and characters resonate throughout any generation, basically. Same thing with the music. Now, one trailer for this movie showed that stupid All I Do Is Win song, and I was worried that that was going to be shown in the movie, but thankfully, I was really surprised that the original score for this movie is really nice and engaging. That famous piano riff that the Peanuts TV specials is always accompanied with does show out throughout here. And Meghan Trainor does have a couple songs here, and I thought that was going to be a problem, but I actually do like Meghan Trainor. She has a pleasant voice, and her songs are utilized very well. The only problem I would say that I have with this movie is that, it runs at about an hour and 20 minutes to about an hour 30 minutes, and if there was more plot implemented here, it would have really shown that the movie was trying to stretch out its running time for all that it was trying to do. And I'm glad that it didn't do too much, because this movie did leave me with a warm fuzzy feeling inside it, and it felt sort of complete even with its short running time. Another issue I would have, but I really can't complain too much about, is that the movie is very traditional in nature. It really doesn't try that much new with the Peanuts formula that has been displayed in the multiple TV specials and the previous movies. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and this movie is evident of that. My final thoughts on this movie are that the lively and colorful animation with its endearing atmosphere make it an honorary and faithful tribute to one of the greatest comic strips of all time. Everything that makes Peanuts Peanuts is evident and shown throughout here, with the wonderful voice acting, the really creative animation again, and its timeless messages that carry throughout from its previous TV specials and movies. And it's just a very pleasant movie-going experience. I have to give credit to director Steve Martino and the great input from Schultz's son and grandson into writing this movie, as it does feel like a Peanuts movie. And regardless of age, if you're going to see this movie, you are going to have an enjoyable time. And also, regardless if you're familiar with the comic strip at all. I took my mom to see this with me, like with my previous review, and she had a smile throughout her face as the movie went on, and she thought it was cute and adorable, as did I. I really enjoyed this movie, and I definitely recommend it. Oh, and by the way, as a quick side note, hey, Fox and Blue Sky, since this adaptation of a comic strip was so outstanding, does that mean we're gonna get a Calvin and a Hobbes movie next? Huh? You have no idea how insanely happy I would be if this happens. My final verdict for the Peanuts movie is 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of the Peanuts movie, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.